Welcome back. The Lagos state government has debunked reports claiming that Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has increased the minimum wage in the state to 70,000 naira. This was clarified by the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotoso, in a statement on Thursday, stating that the Lagos state government has not increased the minimum wage, contrary to the impression in some media reports which emanated from the unveiling of Eko Cares, the umbrella for the various interventions to protect the poor against the effects of the prevailing economic hardship. The governor was erroneously quoted.
Joining us now is Olabisi Adebayo Idowu. He's the Vice Chairman, NLC Lagos State Council. Good morning. Thanks for your time this morning.
Good morning.
Heartbreaking for those who, of course, were already celebrating the increment in minimum wage in Lagos State. You know, of course, I was always going to question how the state planned to afford it. But what are your thoughts? You know, and of course, when this story broke, was it exciting for the NLC, or did you already know that that was a lie?
Actually, I have the information on ground. The only thing I can say about it, the Lagos State governor is a silent achiever and a good listener. Ever before the incident of subsidy removal, the Lagos State government has already done a very good job for Lagos State workers by giving them a 25% increase in their salary. And then, the governor is not in a position to be telling people, I've done this, I've done that. But the workers are supposed to say so. But the emergency of removal of subsidies, understand, we call it a wage award, 35%, which he did immediately. And if you added that one alongside what they have been collecting effort before that time, there's something will increase. But that one is for a period of time. We are still waiting for the increase in salary, and the negotiation is going on between the labor centers, the stakeholders in the country. They are still talking about that. But the governor just said, that's 2 days ago, that by the time the government increased the minimum, not minimum wage again, take home, that can satisfy you and I, then he will do more. That's what he said.
So what would you think would be the perfect figure for the minimum wage? There have been different suggestions. The Nigeria Labour Congress initially started with a figure ranging 6 figures, and there's been negotiations. I think they've come down from the initial 1 million ask that we're hearing. So what do you think would be an appropriate figure for the minimum wage?
Presently, we can't say anything because they are still discussing it. Actually, we have made a proposal to the federal government. They are discussing about it. When we proposed about 700 and something before. If you look at it critically, 3,000 per head to a family of 6. We multiply it in a 3 square meal in a day. Can we get the analysis? What gave you? What's the result?
Sorry, let's do the math again.
3,000 per meal, 3 times in a day for a family of 6.
That's 9,000 per day. 9,000 times 6 would be 54.
How much?
54.
54.
Yeah,
multiply the 30 days.
All right. Okay.
Tentatively.
Okay.
So when people heard about 1 million, they thought it's much money. It's a small amount of money. If a senator or House of a Rep can go home with for a month like a 60 million, 100 million, then we are not talking about an average Nigerian. We are talking about 1 million people are not crying. The federal government are crying. In fact, the governors are crying. It's not enough. We are not waiting for minimum wage again. Take home that can satisfy the family of 6.
Yeah. But I mean, the reactions to that were, that the NLC is not being realistic, with their demands, because the government, there are many states that even struggle to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage. Imagine them having to pay 600,000 naira minimum wage, almost impossible. And also the private sector is not just, government. It's also, of course, private sector expected to pay the same thing. So what would your response be to, those who say that you are being unrealistic and, you probably need to have a rethink?
Well, I must tell you, we have taken all the variables or factors into consideration before we arrive at that figure. Am I communicating, sir? Yeah. If you look at it very well, what we are saying actually, we are looking at certain deficiencies as regards states in Nigeria.
Yeah.
We have taken all those things into consideration. Definitely, we believe certain states can pay it very well.
Certain states?
Yes. If you look at their resources and everything, you
on the average, how many would you say can pay it?
the states in Nigeria, Abi?
Yeah, on the average, how many states would you say can pay comfortably
Comfortably.
600,000 naira minimum wage?
You know, let's
civil
be
servants?
realistic. You too, you know. First of all, we take Lagos State as a case study, Port Harcourt, Kano, and the rest of them. Even though if you want to look at it critically, very few of them will not be able to pay this money we are talking about. Very few of them. And I want to say this one. The governors, they should be realistic. You know, there are certain money, they spend it just anyhow. If they want to pay salary for the workers, there will be problem. But if you want to siphon the money, there won't be any problem. That's what we are saying. Let's be realistic. Nigerians are, they are suffering seriously.
Do you think that the NLC has shown up for Nigerians, for Nigerian workers in the way that they should? Looking at it from the federal level, where there will be several calls for strikes, and then they're going to closed-door meeting, call off the strike. We see that happen over and over again. Do you think that the Nigerian workers have faith in the Nigerian Labour Congress, that they have their best interest at heart?
You know, many people will not know this. They may not know it. You see, in any given society, when an issue is at stake, you know, the federal government, they believe they are very clever. In other words, to give us a bad name before the populace. You know, before we go for any strike, we have seven days ultimatum, 14 days ultimatum, and 21 days ultimatum. We are organized labor, and we follow the law to the latter before you see us in any action. And then we'll give them this ultimatum. But they will not wait till a day or some hours to the time. And then in any given society, we as an organized labor, Nigerian Labour Congress, we respect the law of the land.
We've run out of time. In 30 seconds,
okay.
Would you say that the government has a high regard for the Nigerian Labour Congress? Because what we've seen is you are calling for strike over and over for the same things without necessarily seeing any impact being done in that area. So do you think that the Labour, because the NLC, a lot of us grew up to know, was an NLC that was greatly feared by the government. Do you think that the NLC has such influence over the government?
I must tell you that very strongly. You know, they can't dare us. Let me tell you, the last time they did it, because we do respect the leadership, but they did it last time, they failed. They failed. We did not listen to them. And we went to that, they started calling all our veterans to appeal to us to do this. And then the kind of leadership we are having this time around, Comrade Joe Ajero, I want to tell you, nobody can dare him. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, he was physically attacked in Imo State, you know.
And, yes.
I mean, that's the last that we heard of it. So when you say nobody can dare him.
Yes. You know, he can't fight for himself. You know, as a leader, you can't carry cutlass.
Yeah, I mean, what happened to that case? What happened to the people?
Well, that one is a bygone. We don't need to talk about that one now.
No, we can talk about it.
Why do you want to talk about it? It's a bygone.
It's not a bygone. If he was physically, you know, assaulted by, you know, fellow Nigerian citizens,
that was an insult
thugs
to
or
the
whoever,
NLC.
you know.
But you know, you heard what we did. You saw it, what we did when that thing happened. And I want to tell you now, say from many leaders in this country today, they rose up to that occasion to make sure they talk to us. And it's a kind of person that, you know, it's a learned person.
So is it safe to say that they don't regard the NLC as much as they did before, for that to have even happened in the first place?
No, let me tell you something. In any given society, it's bound to happen. Anything can happen at any time. Understand? And then when you are dealing with different kinds of people, different notions, they have a set of mind, you know, it can happen to anybody at any time. It can happen. And you can, let me tell you something. It's a kind of person he doesn't collect any cheat from anybody. And when they have been trying to lure him, do this, do that, and he's not ready to play game, I must tell you, you can quote me anywhere.
All right.
Adero is not ready to, you know, to be brought over.
Mr. Adebayo Idowu, another day we'll invite you to talk about the NLC and how some may have termed it a largely politicized organization, but that's a conversation for another day. Olabisi Adebayo Idowu, the Vice Chairman of the NLC Lagos State, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.